Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our weekly live. Good to see so many of you already tuned in. And I'm Ryder from Skip, and I'm here with Brian. How are you, Brian?
I'm doing great. How are you, Ryder?
Doing well. Doing well. Yeah, excited to talk about a number of things today, and we'll get into all of it. But we've got new grants to tell you about, including 400 grants. This is for one portion of the country. We'll get to in a few minutes. 400 grants between 15,000 and 50,000, right, Brian? 15 and 50,000
Yeah,
grants.
15. Yeah, that's right.
It's regionally specific. So while we're at it, drop in where you're watching from, because we look for state level, county level, city level grants all the time. So I'll talk about this 15K to 50K grant. Again, it's available for first come, first served. It's not opened yet, so you don't need to panic. We've got other grants and other news to talk about as well. A lot's been happening, man. Lots of economic news. So we'll get into that. So put in where you're watching from, and as always, if you support our lives every Tuesday, hit the like button so YouTube shows this to other folks. Brian, since you're wearing the Skip hoodie today, made me think we did talk about merch in December, and we had a lot of people interested in Skip merch. I guess we need to.
Yeah, I had my mug around here somewhere too. I don't have it like in reaching distance, but yeah, I got my Skip mug as well this morning. I was drinking out of it.
Oh yeah, we've got Skip mugs as well. Yeah, we'll grab it. But good to see so many folks. Shout out to Charlotte, Ohio, Branson, Missouri, California, Montana, Georgia. I mean, we've already got 20 or 30 states represented. And the other thing I want to ask right off the bat today, we'll go for 30 minutes today. Obviously, if you have questions about EIDL news, I'm going to talk about some EIDL updates there for 2023, especially regarding repayments. I'm going to get to that in a few minutes. But since we're 10 days into the year, how many of you have already applied for more funding for yourself or for your business? Again, a lot of you had resolutions coming into this year, or you told us you wish you had applied for more funding last year. So 10 days in, have any of you taken action? And Brian, I think we're gonna drop in that poll now, right?
Yeah, actually, it was already live. We already have some responses there. If you want to take a look, I'll
Nice.
send it over.
Oh,
Yeah, people were.
It's still open though, right? We can get some more responses coming in.
I just closed it because I wanted to because you were mentioning it. Yeah, I wanted to see what we already had here. We have only about 12% of people saying that they have applied for funding, which is pretty good. 10 days in, and we got over 10% people that said that they've already done it. So if you're looking for funding and you haven't applied yet, I'd ask, why not? How come? What's stopping you from that? Because that's definitely, it's never going to happen until you pull the trigger and apply for it.
Absolutely. Okay, so if you didn't get to take the poll, but thanks to the 60 of you who took the quick poll. So we've got at least 3 grants to talk about. Let me share my screen here. There's a Galaxy of Stars grant. There's our grants this month. How many of you have entered our $1,000 grants this month? Again, we donate our YouTube revenue every single month. We've been doing this for almost 2.5 years. It's directly back to you. How many of you have already entered? If you haven't, you can go to helloskip.com/1K. It takes a few seconds. Skip to the grants, add it to your Skip funding tracker, and you'll see it there. Or rather, you'll be entered, and we're picking winners. Brian, I think the last Tuesday of the month, is that the 31st?
Yeah, that's right. So the 30th will be the Monday. So we were thinking of closing it. It's a soft close, I believe, that Monday, and then Tuesday is when we're going to be announcing the grant live on our YouTube live.
Got it. Yeah, so enter that. It's a small thing, but okay. Juanette mentioned you're currently paying your EIDL back, so we're going to get to the EIDL news, repayment news, in a few minutes. But I do want to start with the big news from today. First, there's more layoff news. You may have seen, maybe you follow this or not. I don't know how many of you are affected by all of these white collar layoffs. That's the big trend this year. It's not blue collar jobs, it's the white collar layoffs. Coinbase cutting 20% of their workforce, around 1,000 jobs. we kind of, I mean, I expected this, Brian. I don't know about you, but I mean, I think this is going to be news every single day from a lot of these companies.
Yeah, I think this one in particular was interesting because it's Coinbase. It's something that's very similar to FTX. So, which had a catastrophic downfall months back. So I was kind of waiting for Coinbase, to see what happens with them. So it sounds like they're not going away like maybe FTX is, but they are, they are hurting, which is makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I think we'll see more of these. And by the way, all the links to the grants we're talking about today are in the description today. And if you've won a past grant, if you haven't received it yet, be sure you're in touch with our team, hello@helloskip.com. Saw a comment, because we usually get those out within 1 to 2 weeks. So if you're a past winner, just be sure you're in touch with us. Okay, Brian, where do we want to go to next?
Well, we had, so yesterday we released a video. We kind of did like an overall EIDL recap. Do you want to maybe start there, Ryder?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I think there's how many millions of people that are starting this year are starting to have to repay their loan, and we even have some people in the comments that were asking about that.
Yeah. So this is big for the 4 million businesses. Many of you watching who are subscribed to our channel took EIDL loans. So, or if you know someone who took EIDL loan, share this video with them. So let me recap in 60 seconds the news here. So in November, the SBA gave a hardship accommodation option where if you had trouble repaying your loans, or you think you will, you can pay as low as 10% of your loan payment for up to 6 months. So you could basically substantially reduce payments for a period of 6 months. So if your payment was $2,000 per month, you could lower it to $200 per month temporarily as the hardship accommodation. So we've got a blog post on that. I'd love to hear if any of you took advantage of that. We have heard a lot of you took advantage of that because, cash flow is important. Again, it's not reducing how much you owe, but you may still be having a difficult time, and buying more time could help you, right? Basically, that $5,000 in that example I just gave, you'd save you'd save almost $10,000 over the course of 6 months that you could then maybe reinvest in your business. If Tracy says that she doesn't see that option, if you took $200,000 or less, you see it automatically on your CAF's dashboard, the SBA dashboard. You see that. If you took more than 200,000, you have to manually request this. Speaking of, we have helped people manually request this from the SBA and get this hardship accommodation. So if you want help, you can I think we have our membership link, or you can go to helloskip.com/join. If you took over 200K, you're having a difficult time, you want help enrolling in this, we can help you. But Brian, why don't you talk about the news, in terms of if you can't pay, what happens? What are the consequences?
Sure. And one other thing I wanted to mention to Tracy, when is your well, first off, if your loan is above 200,000, then that's probably just the reason why. If it's below 200,000, it's also possible that your loan is not due for the next 60 days because it won't show unless it's due within 60 days. So, if you got it, in April of last year or March, it might not yet be showing up there. But so we also yesterday in our video, Ryder talked about some of the things that you can do. What are the differences between these amounts, and what are some of the options that you can do if you can't pay it back. So first off, if the first number to remember is 25,000 and below, these I believe are unsecured loans. So if you absolutely can't pay this back and your business isn't doing well, you're going out of business, you can go out of business. And because it's an unsecured loan, there's really not a lot the SBA can do about it. That's if it's below $25,000 and you have shut down your business, and you have to make sure to go through the steps to legally do that. Let us know if you need help with that kind of stuff to legally make sure your business is closed, so they can't say, hey, technically your business is still open. You need to pay back that money. So that's the first one. And then the next amount is between 25,000 and 200,000. And I would imagine, Ryder, isn't this probably the bulk of people here?
Yeah, this is like 90% plus of all EIDL loans are within that, are less than 200,000. I think 95% are less than 200,000.
Right. Yeah. And then, so correct me if I'm wrong in any of this, but from what I remember, those are secured loans. So they can go after business assets for that. So if you have an LLC, if you have a corporation, then those assets that your business has, they can go after that. But a lot of the times, if those assets don't even reach anywhere near, what actually you owe, they're not really going to go through the trouble, and they're not going to bother, to go through that. But they will have legal, authority to do so. So you would have to, what was, I'm drawing a blank there. Ryder, can you help me out?
You have to, what for the 200,000 example?
Yeah. So the secured loans, I believe, because I'm thinking, yeah. So they can go after your business assets, but it's not your personal assets.
Right. Yeah. So for 200,000, which is the majority of probably many of you, if you received any EIDL loans, but by the way, I just want to talk about, everything the SBA is doing is to try to increase the chances. Let me reframe it. Decrease the chances of people defaulting on loans. They want to prevent that. I mean, 4 million folks have gotten COVID EIDL loans. The bulk of those were approved within 3 months, May, June, and July of 2020. And a lot of people who put in their revenue numbers from 2019, remember there was 2 times your 2019 revenue minus COGS, which showed you your eligibility amount. A lot of people's businesses have fundamentally changed. So what the SBA is really focused on is saying, man, and by the way, I'm going to ask them, do they have a number? Like, how many people do they think are going to have trouble repaying? Because they want to decrease that. That's why they put in this hardship accommodation plan. So they basically say, look, at least pay something. Paying something now is better than paying nothing and defaulting on your loan.
Yeah.
That's under 200K. But Brian, as you were starting to say, over 200K EIDL loans. So that number is probably a few 100,000 people that got 200,000 or above. If that's you, you're personally liable as well. Right?
Yeah.
So what can they do in that case, Brian, if you're personally liable for the balance of that loan?
I believe you would have to do personal bankruptcy in that case. Like if there's no way, if your business is, not going to recover and there's absolutely no way, I mean, what you can do first, obviously, is, if you are making revenue, you are making income, talk to the SBA, because they're in the business of helping out small businesses. They're not, in the business of trying to shut you down if you can't pay your loans, but at some point, if that's reality, then personal bankruptcy is going to be the only option there, because they
or you pay with your collateral, right? I mean, you don't have to.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. I mean, like your crypto. Like, could they take your crypto, Brian?
Well, I mean, in the case of like your personal
or your house
collateral, that's going to be your house. Yeah. So that's really bad news. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, give them your house. That's going to be something that you're going to have to, figure out, with, on your own.
Yeah. This is not legal advice, by the way. We're just, sharing what's in the EIDL closing document.
Yeah. I guess that is important to say. We are just trying to give you guys the options of, these questions, but they are something that you're going to have to explore more, I would say, with your accountant, with legal advice, with lawyers. This is definitely on the edge of, if there's hundreds of thousands of dollars that you owe, I would definitely talk to somebody other than just, Ryder and I right now, on this. We're just kind of letting you guys know, informing you of the options, and, wherever you're at, be thinking about, what you can do. But fortunately and thankfully, the SBA did, have that reduction payment thing program. So right now that shouldn't be, shouldn't be a concern at this moment, because you can get that payment reduced if that's the situation that you're in.
Yeah. So a few of you have left comments. You'd love to see a few more, where you're at, you pay in terms of paying back. Just, yeah, would love to hear. Um, I think I know this is on a lot of people's minds, especially given that the economy is not getting much better. Inflation is coming down, but for small business owners, in fact, here's this article I wanted to share right here, which is the U.S. small business optimism declined to a 6-month low in December. This came out of our poll that we conducted in December. A lot of you most of you said 2020 did not meet your expectations. In fact, it was lower than you expected in terms of how your business performed. But I just wanted to pull out a couple of these stats here. Basically, the National Federation of Independent Business said small business optimism fell to 89%, down from about 92% in November. So I know that's why we're talking about options here. If you're having trouble paying for these loans or you want to lower your payments, that's how you can do it.
Yeah, and Dennis, I believe the answer to your question is yes. Dennis said that he has already made a payment, but he's thinking about maybe seeing if he can still get that reduction. And correct me if I'm wrong, Ryder, but I believe you still can get that reduction even if you've already started making your payments. Is that right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to add to that too, the SBA has left open the door to do more options there. These are policy decisions that they can make in terms of how you repay. So they've said it's a 6-month time period. So let's say, Dennis, your payment was $1,000 every month. I'm trying to do the math. What would that be in terms of total loan amount? Let's say it's 1,000. You could lower it to 100 if you're having difficulty paying. And so therefore you could pay $100 for the next 6 months until June. And then in June, it would go back to your full amount. And then at the end, in 30 years, so in 2050, when you're here, we'll do a live specifically in 2050 about this. So be sure you're subscribed. You'll have to do higher payments. So yeah, don't miss that one. That's going to be a good one. And I guess we'll start in 2049, Brian. We'll schedule that one in 2049.
Yeah, sounds good.
That's why you should be subscribed.
Yep.
But the SBA said maybe they will allow you to extend it. So if you said, I still have a tough time paying it, they might say, great, what can you pay? And then you can, that's kind of their MO at the moment.
Yeah. Ryder, do we want to talk more about the EIDL stuff, or do we want to move on to maybe some other news? Maybe
I do want to shift to the second big grant, and then I want to talk about the third big grant today too, which is 400 grants to a specific geography. So if you haven't shared where you're watching from, please do already. But let's talk about the Galaxy of Stars grant, because a lot of you know about this. This is basically every 2 months, I think, right? Every month they do this. But yeah, Brian,
I'm pretty sure they do it every month. Last month they were doing it every week as well. So yeah, they're doing it all the time. But yeah, so this is a grant for $2,750 for minority or women-owned businesses. So it's not both; it's one or the other. But yeah, so they're giving it out at the end of the month, just like us.
Brian, do you know why it's 2,750? Maybe we can ask them.
Oh, why. I don't know why. Yeah,
can they round up here? I mean,
right? Yeah. No, I don't know why.
3,000 that's not a ring. I mean, that's hard to communicate, right? 2,750.
Yeah. I'm not sure where they came up with that number.
Let's email and ask them.
Yeah, maybe we should start doing that. We should, instead of $1,000, give out $1,123.
Random numbers. We should do how many people are on the live, and then we just multiply that by 10.
Right. Exactly. But this one's really easy, quick to apply for. We talk about the Galaxy of Stars a lot. They're great because they're giving out grants every single month.
Yeah, this has been popular for a lot of you. I mean, if you're minority owned or women owned, the link to apply for this is in the description. So as we announced in November, if you click the link, it's the third or fourth link in the description. You'll open right up to your dashboard here, and basically, you can add it in. I'm just going to demo it here. Click save, and you've basically added this on your Skip dashboard so you can keep track of everything you apply for. And then click apply for grant here, and it'll take you to the summary page, and then right to the application page. So, but the main point there is that we will remind you about these grants. Hey, did you apply? Because we don't want you to forget. A lot of you reported forgetting about applying for grants last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's a good one. And as always, we have our skip grants. We're giving out ours. We're giving out $3,000 in the form of $1,000 grants on the at the end of the month, same as the Galaxy Stars. So you can always go to helloskip.com/1K. And then also all of these are available on our app now. So very easy and quick to do, just the same kind of flow where you just click on the app, add it to your tracker, go right to the application. You can do that on the app now as well. Links are in the description.
And you'll see this confetti.
Yep.
Let's answer a few questions here before we recap some of the other news, and then we'll round out with the 15,000 and higher grants as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's pull up a couple questions here.
I saw a couple.
How about this one from Michael? I haven't read it yet. How do you find out your monthly interest payments on your EIDL? Can't find it anywhere on the government site on how interest is accruing monthly. That's a great question. So the other piece of news is the SBA is in the process of overhauling their system. So you will be able to see interest and make payments in the same place. They said it would happen maybe this month in January. So that's another note I'll ask. There's been no announcement yet. Right now it's two different systems. So if you go to EIDLpay.com, we have a breakdown of the SBA system where you can log in, see your interest, see your balance, see payment history, and request hardship accommodation on the SBA system. To pay right now, you have to go to pay.gov. And if you want to do recurring payments, you have to be logged in to pay.gov. So thanks for asking that, Michael. I know some of you others are probably thinking the same thing. Brian, any hot takes on if they will forgive the EIDL loan?
Well, I think we've already gone over this quite a bit, and we've talked with the SBA, Alejandro, who we have on here regularly, and does not seem like there's any plan because the SBA actually cannot do that. It would have to be Congress. So if that's your plan, if that's what you're hoping for, you need to be writing your congressperson. Mm-hmm. Because the SBA doesn't have authority to just forgive that. Just like as it seems that the president didn't have the authority to forgive the student loans, which was pretty unfortunate on my end. But it's just not how it works.
There's news on that today too, right? There's some he's going to.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring it up because it's not necessarily good news for me, so I kind of didn't want to talk about it. But go ahead, Ryder.
No. I saw that there was some. He's going to try to rework some of the student. Anyway, we'll cover that in another video. We don't even talk about that today.
I think it was just payments for they were changing the payments to be just, how do you say it, like economic ability kind. The payments will be you can apply to have your payments changed for not just whatever the amount is, but say hey,
like hardship accommodation.
Hardship accommodation.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, based on income. Okay.
Yep.
So I want to end on this. This is a big opportunity. It's only if you're only if you're in Hawaii, but if you're in Oahu. So if you're in Oahu, this is important for you. But this is also why it's important for two things. One, well, whenever you tell us where you're watching from, we go back and we look up, hey, are there, what's the latest in Alabama? What's the latest in Florida? And that regionally and at the county level as well. So we go back and do that. And also for all of you who've added your business on Skip, we see your zip code so we can do research in those areas. So this is a great one for Oahu. Brian, since you dug this up, and we wanted to highlight this. Do you want to share what's happening here and what people need to do today?
Yeah, definitely. Before that, I just wanted to mention, what Ryder was talking about with everybody, letting us know where you're at, because we would really. I was thinking maybe Ryder, we can do one of these lives where we just go through a bunch of the smaller grants, around the country, because we have so many, but it's just we don't always like to talk about them because everyone's from different parts of the country. But maybe we'll do that if you guys let us know where you're from. For this Oahu one, we really wanted to talk about it because it wasn't just one quick grant. It wasn't just, hey, apply for this $2,250 grant. they're giving out $10 million to businesses here, and it's first come, first serve for the first 400 businesses that apply. So we thought it was, really pertinent to let people know about this now. So, if you know anybody that's in Oahu that has a business, if you have a business,
or find a friend in Oahu, if you help them get this, they will fly you out. Absolutely, will fly you out. You can consult on their business, or just, if you help them get this money. So yeah, they have a good opportunity to like find a friend in Oahu.
Yeah, but I believe the Chamber of Commerce there is having a webinar next week that's going to be going more in depth and talking about it. But the grants are between $15,000 and $50,000, and it is for COVID-19 relief. So it's businesses that were affected there. They'll get into more details, on their webinars. But we would love to let people know about this. If you have the ability to get first in line here and get one of these grants, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So again, January 30th, 8 a.m. Hawaiian Standard Time is when it opens. We put a link to this in the description. For those of you who are Skip users, who your zip code is Hawaii, then we will also remind you about this. And how about, thanks. We got Chicago, Atlanta, Oklahoma, New Jersey, Dallas, and Maryland in the house. But yeah, there are opportunities in all those areas. So, the best piece of advice is, like Brian just mentioned, maybe we can do one where we just go through a laundry list of state and city specific, but also on the app, Hello Skip in the App Store, Google Play. We're really adding a lot more in there. So, stay tuned there, because, we'll have the ability to give you push notifications. Hey, if something comes up in Atlanta, we're going to tell you about it. And so a few of these, and are there any questions we missed, Brian?
We had I think there was a couple earlier on. Just here, I'm trying to go back real quick and check it out. Yeah. So Sherry was just asking, if she is going to close her business in default on her EIDL, how that'll affect your credit score. And, we're not experts with that. We can't tell you exactly what it's going to do for you there. But I would imagine in the short term, it was probably going to be a hit, but in the long term, I think eventually, that this would be a better thing for you, rather than having a loan for an amount that you can't pay, that's going to stay in your credit forever. If you can get it taken away, by closing your business, you may have a temporary hit there, but in the long run, it's going to be better for you to not have this.
Yeah, we don't really know that, but yeah, it's
true.
We don't want to say that, but yeah, you definitely get in touch with the loan officer. I mean, it's true. It might, let's say the SBA doesn't want it to be the end of the world. So it is in fact true. Like, that's a lot for a lot of you. It's tough now. So yes, long-term might be better, but get a second opinion. Thanks to all the love in the comments. Yeah, this is great. All the love, everyone who likes our videos and tunes in every week, man, it means so much. We're committed. Brian and I maybe we can give a little sneak preview here, but we're committed to keeping at these every single week. The reason we come here live is so we can answer your questions, share grants with you first before we've shared in some of our regular videos. We're also going to be having some special, we're going to be featuring businesses more this year. So I don't want to say too much about that now, but this is going to be really exciting. So yeah, hopefully some of your businesses we can, who knows, we can feature as well. Brian, any final thoughts on your end?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered the grants we wanted to talk about today. We got the EIDL news, talked a little bit about the economy. I think we covered everything for today.
Yeah. So grants. So, grants are, always say, look, it's a great option. Our goal is to make it easy for you to apply for those. EIDL repayments, if you're struggling there, just weigh your options. Cash flow, think about your cash flow options. Will deferring payments for 6 months help you? Might it put you in a stronger position? And if you need help with that, we can help you, especially if you've gotten EIDL loan over $200K. SBA 7A and SSBCI still popular. Still, SSBCI is still improving. We'll talk about that more next week on the State Small Business Credit Initiative, because that's $10 billion for that. And we'll put in a lot more grants next week as well. But appreciate all of you tuned in, and can't wait to see you all next time. Yeah, and we'll keep questions coming. If we don't get to them here, we'll answer them in our next video. But until then, hope you all have a great afternoon wherever you're watching from, or if you're in Hawaii, hope you're having a good morning. And if you're in Oahu, go after those grants when they open up on June 30th. All right. And we'll see you all next time.
All right. See you.
Bye, everyone.